Mr. Speaker, the rollout of universal credit is already causing debt, poverty and homelessness. Does the Prime Minister accept it would be irresponsible to press on regardless?
My Lords, with so much early goodwill, why then is UC in so much trouble? Its effects on so many claimants catastrophic. People newly claiming UC from today on will not get their first payment until after Christmas.
Mr. Speaker, I wonder which planet the Prime Minister's on.
Universal credit is a simplified, online-only way of receiving benefits. It rolls together 6 benefits, including unemployment benefit, tax credits, housing benefit, into the one personally tailored payment. It makes sense.
Citizens Advice Bureau describes universal credit as, and I quote, a disaster waiting to happen.
Universal credit has meant people are waiting 6 weeks to get a benefit. That's the official figure. In reality, it's often much more than that. Join that day of action on December the 2nd. Join the demonstrations on that day, sign the petitions, pressurise your MP. We'll raise it in Parliament, but that pressure on all of us helps us to have a stronger and more effective voice.
There are lots of issues with universal credit. Some of my main concerns is digital only, or preference for digital. Then you've got the initial waiting period. People that are already in dire situations are being sanctioned without even realising it. A waiting period at the start is just unacceptable. The application process is poor. People that are vulnerable, affected, are having to find their way through a process which even the most knowledgeable people don't know about. The easy place to start, obviously, Unite Community is a good place to give you some help, but if you find yourself needing universal credit or going through the application process, get some support, get some help. You've got the Citizens Advice Bureau who are there specifically set up to advise you. Unite Community branch members are always there to help and advise. For those that have access online, of course, that's one way of doing it. But the main thing is, don't feel as if you're on your own. If you're unsure, get some advice, because that's the best way to get the best for it.
Oh, come, ye feet, rise up in defiance. Oh, come ye to never to bow down, strong when we're united. But universal credit, but universal credit, but universal credit in the bin.
The progress with the rollout of universal credit as it stands is callous at worst and arrogantly idiotic at best.
Yeah.
And we've heard multiple times that people can now apply for an advance payment. But the fact of the matter is that this advance payment is nothing more than a loan that has to be paid back at a later date. And simply changing the terms of this loan does nothing about the litany of systematic failures throughout this entire process. All this is doing is creating more of a burden on claimants. It's forcing people to have to deal with a problem that is not their fault in the first place. It's almost like this government is starting to behave like some kind of pious loan shark, except that instead of coming through your front door, they're coming after your mental health, your physical well-being, your stability, your sense of security. That is what the experience is for all of our constituents.
MPs of Tory faith are ruling lives we impact afar. School and social health, financial following trees a star. Oh, star of horror, star of fright, star of really awful shite. Rightward leading but receding, save us from our dreadful plight. born a scheme from Duncan Smith's brain. Social justice was his refrain. Debts forever ceasing, never, we will not get fooled again. Oh, star of horror, star of fright, star of really awful shite, rightward leading but receding, save us from our dreadful plight.
Mr. Speaker, the Halton Housing Trust reports a 100% year-on-year increase in the number of evictions. Half of all council tenants on universal credit are at least a month in arrears in their rent. This weekend, the former Prime Minister, Sir John Major, described universal credit, and I quote, as operationally messy, socially unfair and unforgiving. He's right, isn't he? It's years behind schedule, it's forcing people to food banks, driving up evictions, leaving families in debt. Can't the Prime Minister see it? If the former Prime Minister can understand it, why can't this one?
Tory government forcing universal credit, cut the welfare state to shreds, the poor took a big hit, freezing cold they are tonight. There's no cash for heating for at least the next 6 weeks. The food banks where they're meeting. Tory government frozen universal credit, cut the welfare state to shreds. The poor all took a big hit, freezing cold they are tonight. There's no cash for heating for at least the next 6 weeks. The food banks where they're